Three men and a multiverse of sci-fi's finest spacecraft. But which ones can claim to be the greatest ships ever? Welcome to Space Doc Jury.
Welcome to Space Doc Jury episode 24. I'm Lee, and I'm bringing the Thunder Road from the Explorers.
I'm Peter, and I'm bringing the USS Saratoga.
And I'm Andy, and I'm bringing the Dreadnought from the iWar series of video games.
Yeah, there you go. Quite an interesting eclectic mix there this time round. The Saratoga's from Space Above and Beyond, isn't it?
That's correct.
Ah, cool. Yeah,
Saab.
Saab. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is an eclectic mix indeed because two of our ships are picked from the list culled from the Facebook group. So this is almost a listener's suggestions.
And mine was just deferred from last week because it didn't seem fair putting the Dreadnought up against Rick Sanchez's ship and
yeah,
whatever people.
The red one.
That red thing from fucking Lilo and Stitch.
The red one.
The red one. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so what?
It's still a good ship.
Are you drunk already?
Well, funny enough, after that previous minisode, yes.
Yes, welcome.
I'm not far behind, to be honest.
Yeah, welcome to the alternate universe cast of Father Ted.
Yes. Great.
Go on.
Don't worry. One day you'll either hear the minisode and it'll all make sense, or you'll be listening to this thinking, "What?" And then a minisode will come out and you go, "Ah." In true I don't know what's going on fashion. But anyway, before we get on, let's go through our top 10. Yes, we do. Because
we've given this up years ago.
No, we haven't. Fuck it. There's a
no. It's never going to end because he's at the top.
Yes.
As soon as we knock him off the top, then we can go away.
Yeah, it will go away again. Anyway, so yes, let's start at the number 10.
Subject to moderation.
Subject in moderation. What?
Yes, we will be moderating some of these scores, will we not?
Yeah, fine. Just let me have this. So at number 10 with 60 points we have the Dustbuster of the Federation for getting into those tight corners in the Delta Quadrant, and that
and I've just realised that's the highest scoring Federation ship. Who'd have thought that?
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Tough ship.
Yes, the USS Defiant. At number 9 with 62 points we have the SSD Executor. Executor, sorry.
No,
well, it really depends on, do you think Vader was more of a I'm going to execute you, or I'm an executive on my way to the office?
Okay. Yeah, to executive toys. I don't think so.
Okay.
It will kill your ass.
Vader didn't have one of those Newton cradles in his little meditation sphere.
Yeah, which he just moved by the Force.
Exactly.
I don't think so somehow.
That'd be a bit boring though, wouldn't it? Really having
just a tad, yes. Here's my lightsaber and here's my briefcase.
I'm telling you, in Rogue One, it's going to be there.
Oh god! Yeah, let's make Rogue One.
The entire third act, it's just Vader sitting there playing with a Newton's cradle.
Yes.
I have found your metal balls. Anyway,
yeah. How did you come up with the design of the Death Star? I have no idea. Anyway, at number 8 with 63 points, we have the Dalek Mothership. Sorry?
Not even the proper one.
It is a proper one because it actually is in space. It is a mothership and it contains more than one Dalek. Nah. So there. At number 7 with 64 points, we have the UNSC Spirit of Fire from the Halo series.
My first brick!
Yay! as we enter into the brick stage of the 10 top 10.
Which is most of the rest of the charts.
Exactly.
There's a bit of a theme.
Yeah.
It's like bloody Halfords. This is bloody.
It's more like the storeroom of Wicks, actually. Juicens out the back. Anyway, at number 6 we have the Battlestar Pegasus, also with 64 points. At number 5, the Imperial Star Destroyer of pointiness sits there with 65 points.
Mocking the Executor despite being a fraction of its size.
Yeah, size is not everything. As ever,
Firepower.
being at 10.
Look. Trust me, size isn't everything. I've been saying it for years. Ladies. Anyway, at number 4 is the Battlestar Galactica, which again, much like the Imperial Star Destroyer, is actually an inferior model to the thing that
things like crew factor, crew competence. All these factor into this is a metric, a matrix.
Yes,
It's an entire scoring matrix, not just what's the biggest and most powerful. Although I grant you, being the biggest and most powerful does help.
Rather help.
Yeah, which leads us neatly into number 3, which is the Ball Cube with 67 points, followed by the Vengeful Spirit, the big snowplow dildo of doom, number 2 with 69 points, and still sitting there right at the top is Weapon Platform DS1, aka the Death Star, with 73 points.
Although obviously come Rogue One, that might move up or down depending on what's revealed.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, actually, by the time this episode comes out, Rogue One will be out.
Yeah.
Gosh.
See?
Excellent point. There might well be a mini-sode of our match period.
We'll either be sitting on a high or commiserating.
Yeah, or scoring that fucker right down to 0.
Market 0!
So, there you go. That's the top 10 as it stands this week. And now it's time to move on to the ships.
Call me psychic. I somehow don't think that's going to be changing next week.
No, I don't think. I think you can pretty much take it as read that that's going to stay the same.
Good.
So
cut some time out of next week's anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say that'll cut things out. So let's move on. Last week, in typical fashion, Pete lost. With his Lilo and Stitch crashing into the floor red police cruiser. So it's down to you, sir, for the first ship of the evening.
Okay, the USS Saratoga, NCC 31911, was a Miranda-class ship in service to Starfleet in the 24th century. Its first officer was one
Where's
Lieutenant
that
Commander
record scratch sound?
I was going to say, hang on.
I'm thinking, NCC, is that some sort of homage? And then Federal... Oh, for fuck's sake. He's done the wrong bloody ship, hasn't he?
I've done the wrong one. Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. It's the other one, isn't it? Yeah. USS Saratoga, NCC 1887, a 23rd century Miranda ship, encountered a huge whale-hunting space poo in Star Trek 4.
Stop!
Oh, you want me to
realise
do the space above and beyond one, don't you?
Yeah. You've stolen my joke I was going to do on the broadcast episode. Because you wanted us to do justice. I was just going to do the Red Dwarf episode.
Well, that would be preferable, let's face it.
I was just gonna review a story from Judge Dredd magazine. But
you should have done a CSI episode. Or Law and Order.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now, naughty Pete, back in the corner with you. Come on, Dougal.
Yes.
Space Above and Beyond.
That
one.
Classic series. USS Saratoga, SCVN.
That's a good start.
2812 was a John F. Kennedy class space carrier from the early CGI sci-fi series Space Above and Beyond, aka Ensign Rhaegar the series. Oh yes.
Oh God.
Oh wait, acid flashbacks. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, you're in trouble when she's the star of your show, I tell you. It's a walk-on part from Star Trek Next Generation. Oh, she'll do. Anyway, under the command of Commodore Glenn Ross, the Saratoga played a role in the Chig War of 2063. Commissioned on the 26th of August 2059, so not long to wait before you can sign up. We got our space program together, haven't we, really?
Yeah. Gonna go.
Carried 192 Hammerhead attack jets, 16 Stingray. Reconnaissance planes. 8 B-290 Barracuda fighter bombers. You're detecting a pattern here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
4 SWAC spaceborne warning and control vehicles, 12 armoured personnel carriers, and 24 SSRT, whatever you pronounce that as, super orbital short-range transports. That's how you pronounce that. Yeah, they clearly ran out of marine animals.
In a pear tree.
Yes. All the ships. Yes, I for one would have liked to have seen the jellyfish stealth bomber and the pilchard interceptor, but it wasn't to be.
It was slated for season 2.
Yes, when we actually saw the bad guys. Anyway,
nice.
I did have a look at a couple of it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I mean, literally, who was it broadcast? Was it Channel 5 or Channel 4? I can't remember now.
Channel 4.
Whatever it was on at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, really.
Right after Babylon 5.
Yes, you really didn't have to suffer from insomnia to see this. But I do remember watching a couple of the episodes and not being massively impressed. I've since rewatched them on YouTube, which was a bit of a struggle to find them that weren't dubbed into Russian, sadly. So I couldn't get the pilot because my Russians are fairly minimal. But yes. It's the episodes I did see. It didn't feature the Saratoga in a great way. Generally, she just launched fighters or a larger ship that then carried the squad into action. So I don't know if that was a running theme or not, but there we are.
Yep, pretty much.
It also suffered from rather too over earnest acting and very very clunky dialogue. But the effects, interestingly, weren't quite as bad as I remembered. I remembered them being really crappy, but actually I've seen far worse since. So
yeah,
it's perhaps suffered unduly because of a reputation for that. Well, at least actually I discovered happily that there's massive specs online. There are obviously big Space Above and Beyond fans on the internet because finding figures for this wasn't too difficult. For instance, she's 525.6 metres in length. Don't forget the 0.6.
Yep.
Which scores her a 5 for starters.
Nice. We're off to a flyer.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about half the score I got last time in total. So that's splendid.
I was going to say I was going to say you're a quarter of the way there.
Speed sublight. She does 0.96c.
Which means almost
C is the speed of light.
Yeah, C is the speed of light. So one C would be the speed of light. So that would be a 5.
Ooh, bloody hell! Well, I thought it was going to be then. Excellent.
Yep. FTL.
There's no mention of any in the 2 episodes I saw.
No.
I don't recall them having an FTL. Well, actually, no.
They do because they go to the
Chigs are from outside of the thing. Yeah.
So we have it, but we don't know what it is. So it's going to be a 1.
So 1, I believe.
Yeah. 100% more than I thought I'd get for that. Splendid.
Yeah. Maneuverability.
Maneuverability. This is it's an aircraft carrier.
But put it this way, I should be doing this one.
You should really be doing this one. Yeah.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah. I'll get 1.
Cool. Okie dokie.
Now, firepower. Unfortunately, I didn't see much evidence of fire. I mean, it's got lots of particle weapons, pulse cannons, missile and torpedo launchers. I saw 2 episodes I watched. I saw a single laser fire a warning shot. Wow. Mostly it seemed to be the fighters that did the actual shooting, so I don't know.
Yeah.
The ship itself contains laser pulse cannons, phalanx missile launchers, and torpedo launchers.
That still doesn't tell us an awful lot.
To be quite honest, I mean, it's been a long time since I watched this, but basically there was occasionally moments of ship to capital ship combat, but it was very much trading blows.
It was a bit like in the original Galactica when it went up against a base star. You had things flying across, but it was always like, we've got to get out of here before the fighters get back.
Yeah. It could dish out and take a bit, but it wouldn't one shot a capital ship. It wouldn't do anything like that. You have these big sort of literally like the old boat cannon.
Yes, I mean it's literally a bloody aircraft carrier in space.
Exactly. Yeah, it's treated like an aircraft carrier. It's not supposed to be on its own. It's supposed to have fighters and an escort of some sort. So it's its only offensive part of it is really the fighters. It itself is more. It has, again, phalanx is a defensive system. So.
Oh, there you go. Oh, by the way, I've also got I found a spec for it where it says the maximum velocity, light speed, and it's 7 times the speed of light. 7 light years.
Well, that's still going to be a 1 or a 2 because next Star Trek Warp
is 3.
is many thousands times that.
No, it's just interesting that we don't have to fall back on it being a 1 because we
Yes.
don't know. It's actually a 1 because it's a 1.
Yes, it's 1 because it's shit.
Well, I feel much better knowing that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problems. They're happy to help.
Because now you know, and knowing is half a battle.
Yes.
Reversing to firepower, then.
Yeah. So it's got kinetic particle weapons, 1.2 gigawatt laser pulse cannons, megawatt pulse cannons. Basically, lots of lasers, but they're all for.
I'm pegging this around about 5 or 6, but I mean that's just sort of guesswork from the names.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, it's not city leveling stuff, and it's not. It's not even Enterprise D stuff. So yeah, you would be talking around a sort of 5.
Now remind me, gents, because I keep forgetting. Do we count its fighter craft here, or do we count fighter
They're in
craft?
special.
They're on special. In that case, you're probably talking in the 3 to 4 region, because what it has isn't really offensive so much as defensive. It has stuff, and if you have a gun, you can use it to shoot at another thing.
Yeah.
But the gun's really there to shoot down missiles before they hit you.
Well, except for those 2 massive great big cannons on the front and the back of the bridge. There's 2
Those
huge
were some
ones.
sort of launcher things, but again, it's been. I literally haven't seen this since like the mid to late 90s.
There's a reason for that. Believe me, having watched a couple of episodes recently.
No, there's 2. If you imagine like with an aircraft carrier where they've actually more like a destroyer. You know the big gun that sits on the front of a destroyer, a normal boat destroyer.
Yeah, the 4-inch cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's like a one of those sitting on the front of the thing, which they've called a 300 megawatt laser cannon, but it's definitely there. Then there's one about midship, which is a much bigger thing, and it looks more like a sort of like the ones that you get on a destroyer, much bigger.
You've got a picture in front of you, haven't you?
There are some interesting specs online.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate they are. That's the only thing, because I mean,
Right.
we've come across this in the past.
Hang on, I found a big old.
There you go. Look at that one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing now.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking
Yeah.
at, but I don't know how accurate all that is.
Well, they're pretty consistent, so you can only go with what you're given, I suppose. But there was a lot of stuff floating around for Space Above and Beyond when it all came out. But
I love the way that they've put an aircraft carrier at the bottom, just in case you hadn't guessed what it was based on as well.
yeah, the original Saratoga, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the original?
Well,
it claims to be
CV60.
The original is CV3. That's the most recent Saratoga. Yes, I'm that much of a naval nerd.
Okay, well, do you know what?
I'm doing the Ace Rimmer salute now.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you.
exactly. And I'm looking.
And you're doing the Metcalf salute,
Yes.
which involves a single finger.
Yeah, which is the Rick Sanchez salute for peace and love and harmony within his battery.
Yes.
But
I'm doing the Star-Lord salute. It involves just rotating until the thing.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know how this machine worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you look at those,
You got according to this thing, and again, don't know how accurate this is, but it's got 1.2 gigawatt pulse lasers, 50 megawatt lasers. It sounds like it's about as powerful as the Fearless from the Hannah Harrington stuff. So,
Yeah.
Oh, what did we peg that as?
yeah, that's well,
It's one of mine to look down the bottom. Here we are. Firepower 5.
then fair enough. I mean, I think that's kind of where you're pegging it at. Cause,
Yeah. Because essentially it is a big boat, essentially, the same as the Hannah Harrington stuff. And like I say...
although this one doesn't look like a ladies' massager.
I was going to say, this looks like a dildo. You wouldn't want to use this as a dildo. Oh, ow.
A dildo? We were talking about ladies' massages.
For aching shoulders, sir.
Yeah.
What kind of a pervert are you, sir?
Yeah, goodness me.
Oh, very special kind. Shall we move on to defence?
Okay, firepower 5, yep, fine. So, defence, active. Well, there's no real... Well, I suppose there is. There's cannons on it.
Yeah, it's got the phalanx cannons, so you're getting at least one for some sort of point defence.
Yeah.
Pew, etc.
Barnaby Grew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub.
Yes. Okay, one for that then.
One for that. Passive. There's no...
Passive. Has it got some sort of heavy armour?
It has heavy armour, lots of heavy armour.
I'd say heavy armour. You're pretty safe bet with that.
Yeah, so that'll be a 2.
A 2. Thank you kindly.
Okay.
And then on to special, we've got armed support crafts, And we've got 2,000 Marines and Army troops, apparently, as well. So I'm going to claim it 2 for special.
2 for special. I mean, you've got different types of armed support craft. Are we getting into that sort of thing?
I don't think... it's primarily armed with fighters and bombers and stuff like that, and I think you can't start... You get to some of these ships where they have, like, especially when you get to like Wing Commander and Free Space games, you've got 17 different classes of fighters on board.
Yeah, okay, that's fair point. Fair point, well made. Okay, cool. Moving on to crew size then.
Crew size. Well, again, that person, whoever they are, who's put that thing on the internet, has helped me out here. Just counting the Navy personnel, so setting aside the Army and the Marines and all them extra guys that you throw down on the planet, 2,400, which gives us a 6.
Oh, a 6. Coming out strong on the crew.
66.
Nice. Okay, now, for competence. Now, this is
they from my limited viewing of it, they seem deficient enough. I mean, they follow the same squad of heroic type things. You've got your android type bloke, and you've got your person who's got something to prove, and I don't know. They seemed all right, so I was going to pin it at 4, but feel free to talk me down.
Yeah, I mean, what? 3?
4.
4.
I'd say more 3 because I seem to recall certainly with a pilot, some are very gung ho, as in look, jump first, and then worry about the consequences after.
Yeah, and
it was hard to tell who were the most incompetent actually out of the grunts and the people who were in charge of them, and it seemed to be the people in charge.
The other thing to note is that for the most part, Space Above and Beyond followed the pilots of the Hammerhead fighters rather than the crew running the Saratoga.
That's an interesting argument, yes, whether they're counted as part of the crew of the ship or not. Yes,
and so even though you got to see the bridge of the Saratoga now and again, and you got to see like the guy running the show, and
I mean, I know we only had one season, but I presume it survives to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it's got to be good for at least a 3, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 3 because the other thing is they're overly cautious. They're not doing a Galactica kind of let's pile this big ship into the middle of the fight.
Yeah, although I can't help feeling they're being overly cautious so they don't reveal what the bad guy actually looks like because they can't afford to show them.
Yeah, that was really weird. The Chigs themselves were very, very odd. They were an interesting idea, especially the fact that they could actually die by drinking water, which was quite funny. But
that's much the same as myself. Swigs his beer.
Yeah, I was going to say that's because you're 90% alcohol. But anyway, yeah, I think a competence of 3 because they're not overly gun ho going into battle all the time, and they're not super confident about getting in and out. They just kind of do their job. They're kind of very work-a-day.
Yeah.
Okay, so exterior.
Oh my gosh! Where do we begin with this?
Even I ain't going to defend this.
It's got those grey panels that you see on early Babylon 5 as well. That is clearly a control paste jobby.
B5hull.iff.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense, the design. You can see where the bridge is, and that makes sense for it being an aircraft carrier. So
it makes sense for it being an aircraft carrier, but unlike a carrier, it doesn't have a flight deck as such.
No, they kind of come out the bottom.
They come out the sort of bottom and the sides, a bit like...
What's the point of that tower on the top?
Yeah, so really that should be on the bottom, shouldn't it?
Or like Galactica, hidden away deep in the middle where it's safe.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
But it's...
You don't have A-wings coming crashing into it.
Quite.
But then it wouldn't look like a aircraft carrier, or it wouldn't look like a Star Destroyer.
It doesn't look like an aircraft carrier.
Well, frankly, no.
It's got turrets that move and stuff. That's quite cool.
You know what this looks like? It's like something Nostromo should be towing.
Yeah, very true. It does actually. It looks like a barge that you'd find on the Thames in the future.
Yeah. Yes. With seagulls flying over it.
Yeah.
2 is probably the best I can ask for that one.
I think you're about right.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight that one. Yeah.
It's not even a nice CGI model, to be honest. It's just a bunch of boxes. Okay, interior.
Very similar to Babylon 5. Basic. It's cunning the way they get the cockpits of the fighters to come up, so they don't have to show the whole prop of the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's thinking outside the box, I guess.
Yeah.
What do we reckon? 2.
I mean, I don't know. There's a couple of hangar shots that were quite nice. I mean, I'd be happy to go the Babylon 4 level route and give it a 3.
Okay. Science-wise, though, there's nothing overly wobbly with this, although having discovered that they got fast on light, I guess that knocks it down a point or two.
Yeah, but the thing is, for the most part, the faster than light is only like 7 times the speed of light. It's not like Star Trek, as Andy says, thousands of times faster. And for the most part, they chug along under the speed of light. They can't really go. They can go up to, but no further than.
Yeah, they've got some sort of artificial gravity, which they never explain.
I mean, as far as it goes, I mean, as much as it pains me to say, it's actually quite scientifically on the money. I mean,
it's not Expanse or something like that sort of levels, but at the same time, it's not being powered by a black hole.
No.
Yeah. No, and it lumbers along. It takes sometimes weeks or months to get anywhere. The laser guns are all point-to-point particle cannons. They're not like firing obbly-jobbly laser beams that cut through everything. They've got, they're fairly, they're fairly on the money. I don't know.
I don't know, 3 or 4, I think, with this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't balk at a 4, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't have any massive issues with it. Again, I think just by dint of it only lasting a season, it didn't have a chance to do any kind of stupid. We can save the galaxy by using the Omega 12.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, press this red button that we never pressed before because we didn't know what we were going to do with it until the scriptwriters told us.
Exactly.
AKA the Voyager factor, the Harry Kim factor. Anyway, okay then. So that's a 4. So on to the cool factor.
Yeah, this is just an ugly lump, isn't it? Really. So I'm giving it 1.
Yeah, I'd probably only give it a 1 as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it can have 1 from me as well.
Even though it's a brick. Oh gosh,
it's not a pleasing to the eye brick though. It's
unlike all the other bricks you've brought the far.
Any other ones work for me, but this one it doesn't. It doesn't.
What you forget, Pete, you see, is when you look at the other bricks that he's brought, all of them have at least one part of the ship which is running at a 45-degree angle. Whereas the Saratoga is purely boxes.
Yeah, it is.
If there's no angles on this brick, then, obviously that's wrong. That's where it all goes wrong. If this is all 100% right angles, that's it.
So ultimately, I still think I should have brought the Miranda class, but there you go.
Well, you wouldn't have done as well as you did here. You got 43, sir.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
How did the Miranda class just out of interest?
Brought
the Reliant.
Well, the Reliant
scored better at 46.
Yeah, but that's because it got a cool factor quite high, and the competence of the crew was a little bit higher. But that's under question at the moment.
Yes.
So
the
frankly,
hanging over card.
Yeah. So frankly, the 3 points could easily be recovered.
Watch his space, people. Watch his space.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometime in the near future. So, 43 points. Not a bad showing, sir. Especially.
Well, it's remarkable for me, isn't it?
It is,
Well, I think you were on a winner with the fact that A, it didn't crash, and B, it was in space.
And C, it wasn't chosen by me.
Well, that's true as well. So
this is the way forward. Just give me your random shit from now on.
Exactly. So there you go. So it's that's the first.
But that method doesn't work for everybody.
Well, no. Just give it to him. Just that's all sorts of wrong. Anywho, look around. Think of something else. Anyway, so that's with the first one out the gate. It's now on to the person who came second, and that is me. And I'm bringing the Thunder Road from the Joe Dante movie Explorers. Now this ship was suggested by Stephen Moody on the Facebook group.
Yes.
So I've only got him to blame. Because he did actually say, how would this feature in the scoring system? And yeah, we're about to find out in quite a quick way. I don't think this is going to be a long one, I'll be honest with you. Oh dear.
Oh, someone choking in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so Explorers is a Joe Dante movie. Can you tell I haven't really got an awful lot to say about this film?
This should have been the Peter ship, shouldn't it?
Pretty much.
It's red as well.
in places. Right, anyway, so Explorers is a 1985 American science fiction fantasy family film directed by Joe Dante. And the effects were done by Industrial Light and Magic. And the makeup...
Bloody hell no!
Yes, they were. Early...
Yeah, it's early Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, it's 1985, so it's...
B-team.
Yeah. It's the YTS team, because the other team were on just sort of... I think they were all on sabbatical after just... Oh, they actually were probably midway through Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that explains a lot. They were very busy with that.
They were very, very busy. Yeah.
How many X-Wings do you want? Oh.
Yeah. Also, which rather helpful here, it says that the thing was rushed into production and the film was never properly finished.
Really?
Yeah.
I never guessed from the little bit I saw.
Yeah, the studio demanded that Joe Dante stop editing and rushed for a July release. Where it would be,
I'm sure they didn't just demand he stopped, because I think that would have been a better idea.
Yeah, well, the problem was that they rushed it for a July release, completely missing the fact that it would be released on the same week as the Live Aid concert, and so as a result, was not only badly received as a review, but also was a box office flop because nobody saw it. So there you go. Yeah, it cost $25 million to make and actually only made worldwide $9 million. But anyway. The Thunder Road is the name of the ship, which was built around an abandoned Tilton Whirl seat, and was named after the Bruce Springsteen song of the same name. The ship was built by God Almighty, I really am stretching this out, aren't I? I really am trying very, very hard. Was built by Ben Crandall and his friend and child prodigy Wolfgang Müller. Müller. Yeah, and was piloted by both and Ben's crush Laurie Svensson. The ship itself was based around Ben's drawings, which came to him in a dream, and Wolfgang builds microchips based on those drawings, again, which came to him in a dream. The dream itself was being projected by a bunch of alien arseholes, which is pretty much all we can say about them, called Whack and Neek. But anyway, their knowledge comes entirely...
whacking off, I should think.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking off. Basically, they basically decide to lure these children in because they just wanted to say hello and just be generally friendly. The film is utter shit. I'm terribly sorry about this. Yeah, anyway, the thing is, the Thunder Road itself was actually built out of, in terms of in the story, was built out of trash cans and scrap and materials that they could find around the area. However, it was really much of a sort of Doctor Who, the Doctor's wife TARDIS affair, where it could have been basically anything. The technology which the boys dreamed up and subsequently made was actually a device which created essentially a warp bubble around the ship, which allowed them to travel at near limitless distances and speeds without any ill effects of inertia or basically atmospheric pressure or anything like that. Yeah. And in terms,
just as well, really.
Yeah, and in terms of that, also the circuit would also generate in ways that doesn't make sense because it's a fucking circuit, but would also generate air. So, really, the whole fact of the ship was looking the way it does is completely inconsequential to actually what the ship is. The ship itself is really just a warp bubble, a circuit in the middle, and another circuit which controls everything, including the airflow.
Which, frankly, makes it even more unforgivable how shit it looks.
Well, if you've got two kids under the age of 12... trying to build something, I can't imagine they're going to build like the fucking Normandy, to be honest.
I don't know. I think this is a challenge. I think you should have your kids go out into one evening and build a spaceship for you. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it'll look better than that thing.
Well, that's very true. Anyway, the Thunder Road itself is a very small ship. It's not very well constructed, and really all it is just a collection of parts that isn't airtight, isn't very good, but held together by essentially a warp bubble and a positive air pressure field within it.
So if it was all, why did they bother with the Acorn Electron in the first place then?
Well, that was the bit that was actually interfacing with the circuit. That was the whole point of it in the first place. It could have just been the Acorn Electron and those two circuits and a seat, and that would have been exactly the same ship.
Yeah.
So that's where it all kind of goes a bit wonky, you see, because you look at Thunder Road and you think, how the fuck wouldn't they have just kind of decompressed the instant they went into space, or blown apart? And it's
all that doesn't matter.
All of that doesn't matter.
Electron.
Exactly, they just needed the Acorn Electron and something to sit on, essentially.
Yeah. In a way that it would have been a lot better if they'd just gone with that, I think.
Well, yeah, exactly.
We'll have the dustbin and a bunch of TV parts.
Yeah. In many ways, it's very much like the spaceship bubble thing that Hugh Jackman flies around in at the end of The Fountain, except in that case, the Acorn Electron isn't actually an Acorn Electron; it's actually an acorn from a tree. But
nuts to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh shit! My ship has been destroyed by a squirrel. But
it's now featuring countless bloody Ice Age movies.
Exactly.
Oh god.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's about it really. I can't really tell you much more than that. The ship itself had a malfunction on its return, and so
they all died horribly.
Yeah. No. It managed to barely make it back to the back to Earth, crashing into a lake. Again, should have been your ship. And
what got wrong this week?
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, what happens is that
it's that thing when you order pizza and you've got somebody else's and somebody else has got yours. It's too embarrassing to say anything, so just carry on and eat it.
Yeah. I don't really like
fucking pineapple.
Fucking pineapple.
Pineapple got put on British, so I'm just going to not complain and eat it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to flick all the pineapple over the back of the sofa and let someone else work it out. Anyway, the ship's blueprints and everything were lost into the mists of time because once the boys landed back on Earth, they basically lost all.
Yeah. Once the hypno wore off.
Yeah, exactly. And all they could say was that the whole circuitry to make it was really complicated, and that was it. So anyway, let's get going. This ship is tiny. It is tiny. It is basically a little warp bubble that can hold 3 preteens and basically a tilt and whirl seat. So one is about as good as we can do with that.
Pretty much.
Sublight. Now this is kind of tricky because basically it's sublight and its light speed are effectively the same thing. No, it doesn't have an engine which differentiates between the two. Only essentially a bubble like warp drive that essentially cuts them out of space and time and allows them to just propel at infinite speeds wherever they want to go in a matter of seconds. So sublight, I guess, it doesn't do very well, but faster than light, it's...
Well, it sounds like in that case it's a 0 for sublight and a 5 for FTL?
Pretty much. Because literally they project themselves like across the galaxy in a matter of minutes.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch it.
No.
I wasn't going to watch it. So if you say that's what it was,
yeah.
I'll go with it.
Yeah, I mean...
I watched 3 minutes of it.
Yeah.
That was enough for
it's
me.
a bit like... It's kind of a bit like Flight of the Navigator insofar as it just seems to just go, and when it goes, it really does fucking go. But it does literally travel like halfway across the galaxy in seconds. So,
how do we score this for manoeuvrability then? That's an interesting one.
Well, manoeuvrability is exactly that. That's the problem. It's kind of super duper manoeuvrable. It literally can turn on a dime and there'll be no ill effects on anyone because essentially it is completely separate from space and time. It can just go.
But it's not actually manoeuvring, is it? It's just going. Boing, it's there.
Yeah, but when they
it's almost TARDIS-like.
Awooga, back away. I mean, it does some really crazy maneuvers towards the end when it comes back to Earth. It literally sort of comes to an absolute stop from like warp drive, goes zoom over the Earth, and then just goes straight down. And it's like Automan. It literally does like a 90 degrees in like a millisecond, and no one kind of ends up plastered inside. So, I mean, as far as...
I don't know, the guy who used to travel with Automan used to end up plastered against the windscreen.
Desi Arnaz Jr. Yeah, I mean, so as far as it goes, I mean, Turn on the Dime Fighters is 5. So, in many ways, it's very much like that when it needs to be in a couple of scenes. But for the most part, it's flying in a straight line. So, I don't know if I just split the difference and call it 4.
Yeah, if you want.
You're not going to score very highly elsewhere.
No,
so
I was going to say
like
it's not going to do very well. Firepower 0. End of. Active defense 0. End of. Passive. Well, it has that shield that keeps them both alive and intact. So, best I can. It's not defending against any weapons that we can see or they interact with. But so even if it is a shield, I'm only going to ask for 1 because it literally just holds them together, and that's about the size of it.
Right.
I mean, you never really see it get fired upon, do you?
No, so it's got to be a 1.
Yeah, just give it a 1.
Because as much as anything, the interior of the ship is made up of tin cans, quite literally. Special. Well, again, there's nothing there, nothing at all. So that's a 0.
There's nobody there.
Yeah. Crew size. Well, there is 3 people, of which only 1 is needed to actually pilot it. So that's a 1.
Yeah.
Competence. They're 12-year-old kids. One of them may be a genius, but the other 2 are just a bunch of numpties. And when they finally get to the aliens, they do the Prometheus problem of, we're on an alien spacecraft. I know, we'll just get out the ship and take a walk without spacesuits or anything. So,
look at this egg.
Yeah, I wonder what's here. So I'm going to give them a 2. They're not idiots, but they're not great. Exterior is utterly shit. The shit, it's just a 1.
Utter shit.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1 with that.
Yeah, I support that.
Interior, much the same. It's a nice set, in terms of putting it all together and making it look like a ship that's been made by a bunch of kids. But it don't look like a good ship. Big fat fucking 1 for that as well. So, science. Well, what can you say?
How good are Acorn computers, Lee?
Acorn, yeah, an Acorn Archimedes at that. It's not even, to be quite honest, there's nothing in here that's genuine science. I mean, literally, the circuit looks like a CPU, and yet somehow apparently generates oxygen. I mean,
because shut up, that's why.
Exactly. Yes. There is literally no reason for something that is essentially a block of silicon with some circuits sticking out of it to generate air in any way, shape, or form. Ditto for electromagnetic fields that cut you out of space-time reality. So I'm going to give that a 1, purely because they had a light bulb inside. And they acknowledged the fact that they needed air. Cool factor. 1. I can't give it a 0 because I brought the bloody ship, but you can.
And I shall.
Oh, harsh.
What about you, Pete?
It's red, so I'll give it 1.
2.
It's not all red.
So the bits that aren't dustbins.
Red. Okay, well, there you go. So the Thunder Road, not much in the way of arguments or discussion there, but that's understandable given the state of the fucking thing. Had a magnificent score of 19.
No, 19.
And frankly, most of that came from the speed and manoeuvrability. If it actually just flown in a straight line and taken a few hours to get there, I think we'd be looking at Voyager.
If you take away ships where we haven't penalised them for massive crew incompetence, it would be the lowest scoring ship.
It would. So there you go.
So that answers your question, whoever it was that suggested that one.
Stephen Moody. Yeah.
Stephen Moody. Golf clap.
Yeah, how does it feature? It just doesn't. Frankly.
Wow.
Well, there you go. So, that's that. 19 points. I think I'll be first next week.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you scoring that low with your ship, Andy.
I certainly hope I don't.
Well, I think if you do, that'll be it. The toys will be out of the pram, I suspect. But right, okay. Well, it's over to you, sir, with the Dreadnought CNV 301.
Okay, the Commonwealth Naval Vessel Dreadnought was the lead ship of the NSO 929, or Dreadnought class of corvettes, built for the Commonwealth Navy in the late 2250s. It's a total length of 162 metres, and they form the backbone of the Navy. I should mention that this is from the computer game iWar, or Independence War if you're in the US, which came out in the late 90s. It was advertised at the time as a starship in a box. And I absolutely loved this game at the time. It was fucking awesome. Because unlike other spaceship games like Wing Commander or Free Space or anything like that, which were one-man fighters, here you had a crew. You had to do what you said. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Dreadnought herself, again, as I mentioned, is 162 metres, 8,500 tons, if you're interested. She's powered by a collider ring. Effectively, she has a Hadron Collider thing around the rim, which spins particles around really fast, which makes a total power output of 1.85 gigawatts, which I think will get you one and a little bit DeLoreans to travel backwards in time. And there's lots of boring technical information. Again, because this was a starship in a box, they spent a lot of time thinking about why things work and do stuff and everything. They're fitted with a pair of particle beam cannons mounted port and starboard, one facing forward, one facing backwards, as well as a pair of missile launchers with magazines on the end of her stubby little wings. She can also carry a large array of probes, missiles, torpedoes, and on rare occasions a pair of fighters, although I'm not going to count those in any way because that's more fighters docking with it than actually being part of the ship.
Yeah.
So there you go. As far as progressing through the universe, as it were, she has three main engine systems. There's thrusters, which is kind of like you're docking and you're moving and you're kind of before you dock. It has what's called a linear displacement system, which effectively can take you up to 99% of the speed of light. Very good for whizzing around a solar system, but if you accidentally strayed too close to a planet, you would crash and burn horribly, which happened to me on a few occasions. And something called the capsule drive, which kind of functions along the same sort of lines as jump gates or something like that, but the engines are all entirely mounted on the ship. But you have to travel from Lagrange points, which are points in, these are real things, points in space, which are gravitationally locked between, say, the sun and the Earth, or between the Earth and the moon. There's, the Earth has, I think, 5 Lagrange points. The sun has Lagrange points. Every planet has a Lagrange point. So that's very, very interesting. Yes, in the course of the game, you first see it in the, for the time, very impressive 15-minute animation, which, it kind of just tells you the story of the Battle of the Toloman Jump Point and how the Dreadnought fought off an entire fleet of independent indie vessels, if you will, before unfortunately getting holed and the captain having to do a suicide mission to stop them blocking the jump gate, forcing the Navy ships to get smeared on the back of it. But then the player character later comes and salvages the ship, and you go on many more adventures and save the galaxy, because that's what you do in these sort of games. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. Any questions from the Peanut Gallery?
Not for me, because I played the game, so I know what we're dealing with. But,
you have a frame of reference.
I do have a frame of reference.
Why is it so flat?
Because reasons.
Oh, okay. Just that nobody sat on it at any point.
No.
Which would explain a lot.
No. I mean, to be quite honest, the way you should look at it is, even though it looks flat,
yes,
it's actually
very, very flat.
Yeah, but that's just a scale from distance. If you were up close, it would be, I would say, very similar in dimensions to the Defiant, in terms of it looks flat from a distance, but when you're up close, it actually looks quite tall and fat. But it's just the scale of some of the components make it look very thin.
It's very long and wide in comparison to its height. So, as Lee says, from a distance, it seems flat, but it is not flat.
In the same way as if you look at the saucer of the Enterprise or the Enterprise D, you would think it was quite thin. But you know that when you're up close and you're looking at around the rim of, like, when 10 forward is, you got like 3 or 4 decks in there.
Lee, is what you're saying that these cows are small, but those are far away?
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm saying, Dougal.
I don't get it, Ted. Explain it to me again.
Oh, okay, let's get on and spoil
fucking
this
note.
thing.
Anyway, let's get on with rating this
Before we have another Father Ted skit. It's been a long afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
It certainly has.
So, size on her longest, which is her length, is 162 meters. So that, I believe, puts me in the...
Just over 100 meters, so that's in
Well, it's
two.
162. I mean,
So that's two.
That's
that's two, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're two.
Yep.
For sublight, linear displacement drives up to 99% the speed of light.
So that's
she
a
can literally
5.
cross the solar system in a matter of minutes, basically.
Well, I mean,
it's on more than one occasion, I flew too close to a planet and burnt up. It was fun.
Yeah, well, it is, it's near as damn it speed of light, much the same way as a Saratoga. So, yeah, 5 for you there.
On the FTL scale, I think we're probably talking Star Wars hyperdrive jump gate sort of things. Although the engines themselves are mounted on the ship and there isn't no physical gate that it needs to engage with, it has to do it from specific gravitational points in the solar system. It can't just be in the middle of nowhere and say, I'm going to jump to another system.
No,
it has to travel to a point. And one of the key conceits of the opening video of the game is you can block those points and bad things would happen if you exit from a blocked point.
Yes. Yeah, so, Lagrange points. So, you'd have to kind of get to a gravitational null point in the solar system to take off. So, I think a 3 is where you're kind of at. Because you can go faster than light, but you can't. And you can go really fast, but you can't.
Well, it's near as makes no difference instantaneous. I mean, it's literally you can travel from one end of the known cluster or wherever it is to the other in, a matter of moments, but it is from those specific points only.
Yeah, and it's not like across galaxies, though.
No, you've got to go from... It's like being on the tube. I want to get from, where I am down to Pete. I've got to change at both Charing Cross and London Bridge.
Yes. And those are Lagrange points around London.
Yes, the stations with the white circle are Lagrange points.
Yeah, gravitational null points where nothing moves and no one goes anywhere.
Exactly. And
Sounds
when
like Southeastern trains.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
they get blocked, it's really bad for everyone.
Exactly.
Maneuverability, this is up there with the White Stars, Turn of a Dime. This is a game which fully embraces Newtonian physics, which is tons of fun again, because you can be flying forward and you've got someone behind you and you can just turn around and still be flying backwards and shoot the bad guys behind you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I know Star Furies came afterwards, but it is very Star Fury in the way it
Star Furies came before this.
Really?
97, this was.
I thought I wore... Oh, you know why I'm thinking? I'm thinking the original version thing that was Warhead on...
Yes, you're thinking the Warhead, which was on the... Was it the Amiga?
Yeah, the Amiga, which was kind of the prelude to this, which is doing the same deal, yeah. No, anyway, so it's very Star Fury in terms of the way it moves. So, what are you talking for? A 5 or a 4?
5.
5. I don't have a problem with that. I know Pete's got no frame of reference here, but...
Yes.
So,
firepower. Now, again, as we've come across, these are in this universe. This isn't a universe of galaxy-destroying weapons or, quantum or trilithium torpedoes or anything like that. So we're not talking top-end firepower or anything like that. But at the same time, she does pack quite a punch. She's got these particle beam cannons, which can tear through larger ships, can vaporize smaller ships in a single hit. She's equipped with torpedoes and lasers, not lasers, torpedoes and missiles and stuff like that. So I'm probably pegging her around a 5-ish, kind of Slave 1-y area.
That sounds about right.
That's where I think she's at.
Yeah, because nothing is one-shotted by this, is it at all? I mean,
you get instances, but that's in cutscenes. But it's usually 2 or 3 shots, and it will. But even then, the ship itself is not a huge ship.
No,
she can one-shot a fighter, but who cares? She can't one-shot a capital ship. So,
no. Or a ship of equivalent size to her.
No.
The old indie dreadnoughts used to be a pain in the fucking arse.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so chasing her around.
Little trip down memory lane for me and Lee, but it's a good trip. You should join us sometime, Pete.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So defense active.
Okay, active defense. Hang on that. I made a note here.
Well, gets 1 for maneuverability.
One maneuverability, absolutely. She does have an ECM suite because in the iWar world, hacking into the other guys' ships and remote piloting them is a thing.
Yep.
So that's one there. And she also has angled shields.
That would come under passive.
I thought angled shields were under active.
No, the active is something that can be
It
used.
is under active.
Is it?
Because
shields listed, yeah.
Okay.
Because these are shields.
It's
The
shields that are responding, basically, rather than just there.
Oh, that's right. They're actively sort of putting themselves
the
in
shields
the way.
cannot cover the entire ship. They can only cover portions of it. So you have to angle the shields to where you want them to be at.
Yeah.
To do the thing. In the game, it's largely done by the computer, but it is not a all-encompassing shield.
No, so which always makes things interesting when you're getting attacked from two fronts.
It makes it's a little bit of getting into a two-front war is a big mistake, as Hitler learned.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so that's 3 points for active. So
yeah, I think that's all I've got on the active.
Passive.
Passive, I'm probably going to go for. It's either light or heavy armor. I'm leaning towards heavy armor because
I think heavy. I think
heavy armor because we see in the beginning, she takes a lot of hits, and the only one which kind of takes her out was a lucky shot, as you say, because the shields weren't in the right place.
Yeah,
and even then, the ship was salvageable 5 years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, heavy armor is what I think we've got there.
Yep. So that's a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, this is me playing devil's advocate, but is that not is having angled shields actually a benefit? Because given that as we've established twice here, if it's pointing in one direction and you shoot it up the arse from a different direction, those shields aren't worth bobbins.
Well,
again, angled shields are in.
Well, he hasn't scored any points for shields under passive.
Mm.
Instead, he's got 1 for angled shields. I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I was just trying to work it out because obviously part of the thing with defense is actually defending the ship, and if it doesn't do the job,
but if it's actively putting the shields where it needs them, then obviously it comes under active. Mm-hmm. But that means he doesn't then score any points for shields under passive because they're not as good.
That's
if he had passive shields, then he'd be getting 3. So
okay, fair enough. No, I was just curious more than anything. It would have only literally been transferring a point from one place to the other, so wouldn't have made.
Hey, we've
difference
argued for hours over less. So
that's very true. Okay,
but no, I think heavy armor again. You see throughout the course of the game, even when you lose your shields. You can still take a number of hits. You can get quite a bit of damage, which brings me to special regenerative abilities. In so much as the ship can repair itself to an extent. If you get severe hull damage, you're fucked. But throughout the game, you can take quite a lot of damage to other systems, and they repair themselves as long as you're not being attacked while that's happening.
So that's a 1.
That's a 1.
Cool.
But that's all I've got for special.
Okay. So crew.
In terms of crew size, it has a crew of 50.
Yep. So
in terms of crew competence, video player, I'm the captain, it's a 4. I think we've said is video game crews.
So for crew size of 50, that's a 3.
3, yeah.
Okay, that's a 3. And for crew competence being a video game player being a 4, that's that. Okay, so that's pretty quick. So we're on to exterior now. Here we go.
Here we go. Line them up, boys. Well, look, for what it's worth, I think this is a very well-realised ship. It's early CG, relatively early CG. I mean, we're still 5 years after B5. Yeah, 93 B5. So you're 5 years after Babylon 5. But in terms of video games, this was like, fucking hell, this is awesome. Even in-game, this thing stood up really well. You had the little jets while the thrusters detached you from the Salt Lake Space Station and stuff like that. It was really well realised. I'm not going to ask for 5 because, that's... It's not up there with a Pegasus or anything like that.
In fairness, that would be silly. I mean, I'm a fan of this ship, and I wouldn't.
No, I'm not going to go for 5. I'm probably going to lean, based on the fact that I can't just take this as it appears in the FMVs. I've got to take it as it appears in the game. I'll ask for 3. If it was just the FMVs, I'll ask for 4. But for the game as well, I'll say 3. I'll ask for 3.
I don't have a problem with a 3, but Pete, you're coming at it from no frame of reference, and
Yeah, I've literally only seen still pictures. So
Yeah.
I sent you a 14-minute video.
Did you?
Yes.
Where?
Last week, before when we were due to do it. It was the entire opening video where you saw it doing all the cool shit and flying around and everything.
Just play a fucking note. Ted. Oh dear. Okay, I'll tell you what. I mean, 3 I think is fine. I don't have a problem with 3. Where is it? It's just. I mean, the FMV stuff is a little bit more polished. The stuff in the game, quite a bit less so.
Yeah, but again, it's 97
Yeah,
PC.
no, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
No. I'm just for people not listening at home. It's like This was This was an age when to play a game you had to, make sure you had the drivers installed for your sound card, make sure you had the right. This was a bloody Voodoo graphics card to get the 3D graphics on this thing.
Oh God, yeah, 3D a 3D graphics Voodoo card, Voodoo 3 or Voodoo 2,
something like that.
Oh man, the biggest graphics engine in this game would be the power of your own imagination. To be honest,
yeah, a little bit.
In fairness, I've got a picture of the in-game, which isn't. I'll be honest with you, it isn't terribly impressive. But
and again, that's why I'm asking for 3, because the FMV I think still stands up quite well. I think if you took the FMV model and you rendered it with today's graphics engines and everything like that, it would still stand up well. If it was well rendered, it would stand up as well as anything. But when you take the in-game engine, you're talking Nero's makes no difference. 20 years old now.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot can happen in 20 years.
I'll tell you what. This 20-year-old graphics engine, though, still looks better than, say, anything off of the Xbox One, early Xbox 360 games, even. I think it hands up better than those.
Really? I think,
early ones, yeah, I do.
I think
you look at Halo 2 when it first came out. This I think looks better.
I think, sir. So I think you might want to sort of give those glasses a wipe because there's a little bit of rosé on them. And they're very tinted.
I've got the good old games version, mate. I don't need to watch those. I've had a play on it, but yeah. But look, I'm asking for 3.
It's fine. It's fine.
Unless Pete wants to
argue the toss.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it more than 2, but.
There will now be a brief 15-minute intermission while I make Peter watch the FMV.
I've just watched it, actually, and yeah.
You've just watched it?
Yeah, I just literally fast-forward watched it, yeah. The exterior is slightly better than the interior, if you're asking for
Well, for the interior, I was only going to ask for a 2, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I wouldn't have pushed for the more
And it's
than
just
that.
as well not judging it on the basis of the look of the actual characters, because... Morph?
Yeah. Character animation, it had a way to go still.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay then. So, exterior 3, interior 2.
Mm-hmm.
Science.
I'm asking for 5 on science. This is one of the games where they pretty much went all out, attention to detail and stuff like that. They explain the things like the artificial gravity with gravity plating and the collider ring providing gravity through whatever reasons. And it's got FTL, but we have other series that do FTL and stuff like that. But everything else, the inertial drives, the colliders, the particle beam cannons, the whole thing is kind of geared around a scientifically accurate base.
Okay.
Even to the point where, with the linear displacement drive, the FTL you do in systems, not Capture One, there is a time dilation effect.
Yeah, there's a lot of science-heavy stuff in it. I will grant you that. The only thing is, when you said, it explains the anti-gravity by saying gravity plates. How do gravity plates work?
Shut up, that's why.
Wasn't 5 Tyson proof?
Yeah, 5
Yeah,
is
but we
Tyson
gave
proof.
up on the Tyson proof thing a long time ago. Right after we gave up the idea of tweeting him every week to troll him into replying.
That should still be a thing, by the way.
It really should be. Look, I'm happy to be argued down to a 4 because, again, there are things like that. It's just, again, it's one of the selling points of this game was the science behind the ships.
The science behind the flying, I grant you that. The whole propelling yourself in one way, the Newtonian inertial drive and all that kind of stuff, that all perfectly fine. But, I know we abandoned it, but to me, the 5 on a science thing really has to be tip-top pinnacle. We did a whole episode based on the fact that all the ships in it would get a 5. So
except the Icarus 2 somehow.
Except the Icarus 2, which was actually designed by a quantum physicist. But,
and lead keyboard player from D-Ream.
Yeah, because things are only going to get better. Trust us. I'm seeing him on the 2nd of December, which has probably already happened.
Is it the Infinite Monkey Cage?
No, he does a sort of like a stand-up show thing at the Apollo every year at Christmas.
Oh well, excellent. So, look, I'm happy to take the 4. That's fine.
Yeah, I think 4, and then you're fine. But I think if he's only saying that Neil deGrasse Tyson would look at it and go, "Oh yeah, that works."
Neil deGrasse Tyson would look at it and say, "What the fuck are you bothering me for? Piss off."
Yeah, he'd be like, "Why?
I've got better things to do with my time."
Yeah. So, and if you are listening, anyone who fancies doing that, then by all means, just get onto him on Twitter. I'm sure he'll be well pleased to get tweeted by a bunch of people saying, "Why haven't you rated a spaceship this?" Sorry, I'm in a devilish mood. Tweet him.
Really? No, yeah. One would never have guessed.
Yes, instantly. Tell him Rick Sanchez sent you. Anyway, so cool factor. I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, yeah, you know where I'm going, so you may as well just put me down.
Okay, fine. So, Pete.
0.
Big fat 0.
Really? Wait, whoa. Really?
Yes, it looks
fucking
like it's
0.
been sat on.
You're giving me... You!
Yep.
Reverend Organ are giving me 0.
Watch me.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Shots
Ugly
fired.
and sat on.
No, shots aren't fired at this point, mate. This is fucking nuclear assault incoming. Wow.
I personally think 0's a little harsh, especially since you just gave the Thunder Road a 1.
Yeah, I mean...
That
I'm
had more realism about it.
Fuck off, you fucking fuck.
And it was red.
To be fair, the indie version of this is red as well, but still. Wow. Okay, that's how it is. Okay.
Well, you'll get a 3 from me, so hopefully that'll salve the bomb. Oh dear.
I'd like to revise my score from the Saratoga earlier, if I may.
No retaliatory strikes. Thanks very much. Otherwise, this whole thing will collapse into and another thing.
And I'd sleep with one eye open if I were you, Peter.
Oh well, there you go. So the Dreadnought CNV 301 from iWar Independence War video game scored 49. There you go. Beating the Saratoga and surprisingly beating the Thunder Road. Who knew? Everyone's gone quiet. Oh dear. Well, there you go. That was the thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay!
Yeah. You see why we it's starting to turn into every time we come back to record. It's a bit like when pandas mate.
I'd love to know your basis for that simile, sir.
Well, you see, they do it very carefully. They do it because slowly, and then they forget why they did it halfway through, and then they all get very cross. So I'd say that was pretty much an on the money simile. Anyway. Anyway, so there you go. So that's this week's episode. Congratulations, Andy, with Dreadnought. Didn't make the top 10, but I don't think we ever expected it to be honest. I don't think we expected it to.
No.
So it just leaves us to tell you what we're doing next time.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah. So, Andy, what one are you bringing?
Well, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit, because I know how much Pete loves me bringing CG games from CG ships from video games. So I'm bringing the Mothership from Homeworld.
Higaran ship, isn't it?
Yes,
You
the
sure we
Higaran
don't-
mothership.
You do want to bring the wee ship from Space Invaders, because as well.
That's not a
How
ship, that's
about
a tank.
no?
Yeah, I'm bringing the ship from Gallagher. No.
Let's face it, it
accent.
would still probably do better than anything you've brought. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Oh look, yeah. Would you like some cream for that sore ass you got after that cool score? Right. Okay. Well, me and Pete rather foolishly have delved into the randomizer again.
Engaged the randomizer once
We
more.
engaged the randomizer, and
That worked so well for Doctor Who.
it did. It worked really well, and so I got the suggestion from this Facebook group. On the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/spaceduckjury, I got Sean Gleason's suggestion of the prawn ship from District 9. So I'm going
And he will be presenting it entirely in a faux South African accent.
Yes.
in a
Thank you,
crappy South African accent, which is probably going to annoy everyone and turn into Welsh before you know it.
There you go. Right there at the end.
Right there.
It's a fucking great film, though.
It is a good film, yeah. But then we did another randomizer for Pete.
Yeah.
And Pete, would you like to tell them what you got?
McManus! I've got bloody Superman's fucking escape pod.
It's a Christmas ornament.
You got a Kryptonian escape ship
Elton.
from Superman the movie.
Seriously. First the button moon ship and now this.
Does he task you, Peter?
He
Does he task you? You know what? Good.
Well, it'll be interesting because you know what? If this actually comes out sort of on Christmas Day, this episode, you will be a holy man led by a star.
Well, we're certainly not three wise men, that much is certain.
Yeah.
No, we are purely those weird ornaments that turn up in dodgy nativity builds. Sort of like when they run out of people to put in there. We're the sort of like the Action Man, the Superman with one eye, and like something that used to be a sheep before a kid smashed it into a floor.
The two Spinosaurus Rexes fighting over a chainsaw.
That's it. So
We are Glob, frankincense, and meh.
Glob. Nice. Glob, Frankenstein, and meh. Anyway, so there you go. Yes, so two randomized picks, which is the Kryptonian escape ship from Superman the movie, the prawn ship from District 9, and the Higaran mothership from Homeworld. So do join us next time for that. I don't know when this episode's coming out, and if it comes out just before Christmas, Merry Christmas, I guess.
Otherwise,
It comes
Happy
out
New
after
Year.
Christmas. We hope you've had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and if
We hope the world is still there.
yeah, and if it comes out just before Christmas, take care. Hope you've done your shopping. I don't know what to say. We're fucking crap at this ending thing. Anyway, so there you go. So thank you very much. Do join us on the Facebook group, which, as I've mentioned before, is facebook.com/groups/spacedockjury. Go swear at Peter and ask him why he took on the Kryptonian escape ship.
Fucking Elton McManus, that's fucking why.
And you can find him probably raving.
I believe it might be karma.
Right, you'll find him raving away on the Twitter feed, which is @SpaceDocJury. And of course, do leave us a review on the iTunes page. Just Google us up, look up iTunes, and we'll see you all next time. Until then, take care. Tatty, bye.
Cheery, bye.
I should go.
Still going to keep doing that.
Yep.
Space Duck Jury is a production of 3 Angry Beards for GeekPlanetOnline.com.